So let me, okay. Yeah, I see you, but I'm frozen. Okay, I'm in.
So you are in and ready to go, Member Cheryl?
Yes, I can hear you. So I'm assuming I'll hear everybody else.
Let's test that theory, Member Llewellyn.
I didn't.
Say something to Member Cheryl.
Member Cheryl, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, and I can see you. Thank
You
you.
can see her, right? Yes. We have to be able to see her for her to count
Hold hold
the
on, hold
virtual
on.
attendance.
Let me see how hold on. Let me see how I get in to be seen. Okay. Can you see me now? Can you hear me?
Ms. Ash, we can hear you, but we'll have to be able to see you to count you as
Okay.
present remotely. And presently, we do not see you. We just see initials on your
Okay,
screen.
hold on. I'm trying to figure out how I get in to be seen. Because now I can't see anybody. Let me see. Okay, it's coming up.
I'm sorry?
Okay.
Coast Guard Auxiliary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, don't worry. I see.
Okay, I'm trying to undo the
What's my
camp.
name? Marines. I tried to do anything.
My first command. I learned a lot
Okay,
about
let me see
leadership.
if I can figure out.
He'd been in the Marine Corps for a very long time. And he joined the auxiliary and became.
Go ahead with the meeting, and I don't count until I can figure out how to be seen.
Uh, Member Cheryl, I appreciate your sacrifice, but I tell you what, why don't you disconnect and reconnect again? How about that?
Okay.
Hang on. Have you disconnected yet?
Yeah, I'm trying to go using my browser.
There's not a button to disconnect. Someone who knows something about team, walk us through this. Tell her, please.
Cheryl,
Yeah.
Ms. Thomas here. You need to look for the video camera button. It should
Mhm.
have a line through it to turn your camera on.
Right. I clicked
Operating.
that and it didn't do anything. So I'm going now, doing it through the browser. See if I get anything there. Well, okay, I'm gonna go out a second time and come back in. Okay, hold
Good
on.
idea.
Okay, I'm going back to the link. You guys start without me and then I'll join you when. Okay.
Member Cheryl, I think it's wise to ensure that you are joined before we begin.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to shut my whole computer down.
Oh,
Sorry. I just dumped the whole thing of
We
water.
have more than a quorum. Physically.
Okay. Yeah, we have more than a quorum, so go ahead. And I'll figure out how to get in.
We have more than a quorum. We have enough people and we don't have anything of consequence to vote on. I mean, we can proceed with her this way, but not counted towards the quorum and not letting her participate in votes or discussions. She can observe.
Member Cheryl, can you hear us? I'll wait 1 minute.
We're not in a position where I think for the good of a cause, I'd like to have.
Yeah.
Folks, while we're waiting, I just want to again remind everyone, if you wish to comment during our public comment session, please sign in first. You all have been terrific about that thus far, but it is third item on our agenda, so we'll be moving into that rather briskly. So if you would like to comment and you haven't done so already, please sign in. I believe those attending remotely have a remote option for signing in as well. Thank you.
We will now call this meeting to order. Let's start with a brief moment of silence in thought of the recent violence that our city has experienced. I invite wisdom into this earth realm through us and compassion to one another. Madam Secretary.
Present.
Here. Luella Webster,
Present.
Kelly Johnson,
Present.
Dr. Joseph Adams,
Present.
Bill Williams, present, Dominique Thomas,
Present.
thank you.
This may be one of the first times that we've Fine.
And even in the materials in our home. And long-term exposure to these chemicals can pose a serious threat to our health. So I spoke to a concerned South Bend resident and
Is there any mail or issues that need immediate attention? This question is posed to the director and to the secretary. Do we have any mail or any issues that will require immediate attention?
No.
We have a quorum. We'll proceed to section 2, approval of the agenda minutes. Counselor, have you had a chance to look over the agenda? Yeah, the minutes from last meeting.
Beasley says the only way to fully get it out of our system is to stop using PFAS.
In a moment, I'll take a vote for the approval of the minutes.
Minutes are approved. I would like to have my name corrected. The spelling of my name is capital L-U, capital E-L-L-A, Webster, not capital L-E.
Oh, man. I must.
Is that noted, member?
Adopt them as amended with those governor's corrections.
Member Cheryl is present. I'm going to allow her to have her attendance taken Member Secretary? Member Secretary, you want to call her name?
Cheryl Ash,
Here, present.
thank you.
And we still have a quorum. Okay. You looked at the minutes, you good?
Yes. I think that you could, a member could make a motion to adopt the minutes as amended on the floor here with what is essentially a typographical correction.
All right, so we got 3 typographical corrections. No other issues? Everybody good? All right, well then, I'll move for the approval of the minutes with the corrections.
I'll second it.
All in favor? We have a member online. Member Secretary? Roll call.
Roxanne Hughes. Roxanne Hughes, present. Dr. Day Bryant. Donna McMahon.
Present.
Okay. You all, this is a vote to accept the minutes.
Cominique Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl Ash.
Yes.
Luella Webster.
Yes.
Kelly Johnson.
Yes.
Dr. Joseph Adams.
Yes.
Sharia Williams, yes.
All right, the people that answer present. Say aye or yes. That was everybody? We good? It's unanimous acceptance. The motion passes. Great. We now have a public comment section. Three minutes per speaker. Those who have signed up. I'm going to allow the attorney to, our attorney to say a few things before we begin. The only thing that I ask during the public comment section is that everything is addressed to the chair and that we are respectful. Can we do that? Address everything to the chair. Attorney?
Thank you, Dr. Adams. Good public interest in our business, but we do ask that when you speak, that limit your comments to matters of police review business or matters of community oversight topics. Also, the board will listen to comments, but it's not typically done that the board responds to comments. So nobody feel like you're not being heard if the board does not respond to your comments. This is an opportunity for the board to receive information, but in the interest of getting through the board's other business, the speakers should not expect to have live feedback from their comments. Dr. Adams, would you like me to read the list of, call people up individually, or how would you like to proceed?
Yes, please call people up individually.
Very good. I'm also happy to time the comments.
Thank you, counsel.
First name who signed in is Logan Foster. Sir, if you wouldn't mind, I suppose, approaching the podium, and I'll begin your 3 minutes when you reach the podium, sir. Thank you.
Would you have people state where they live? I know
Yes,
that's how the city council does and the county council do.
yes.
Board meetings for South Bend School.
I think for the good of the cause, please tell us your name and address, and we'll start now. And Mr. Foster, please.
Yes, Logan Foster, 1138 College Street. On May 13th, 2024, right here in this room, Officer Josh Morgan watched as I, a citizen of the city of South Bend, was assaulted by Councilmember Sheila Nagatsky. Yet his police report painted a twisted version of events, suggesting I was the aggressor. And Officer Morgan even failed to name me as a victim in his police report. This wasn't just a mistake. It was made worse when officers muted their body cameras during the crucial incident in the hallway right over there. That off-the-record meeting let Sheila Nagatsky walk away without accountability. No felony intimidation or assault charges. Muted cameras does not serve the interest of truth. It erodes transparency and public trust. On July 6th of the same year, I did exactly what's required of anyone. I filed a 7-page formal complaint with this board. I provided officers' body camera footage, security footage from this room, my own video camera, and the police report that I acquired through public records. But in return, Director Charles King declared the board couldn't investigate this matter simply because I also sent my complaint to Internal Affairs at the exact same time in the exact same email. Since one is seeking oversight from both agencies, a reason to deny accountability. Almost a year later, on May 15, 2025, Director Charles King said the board could not review my case due to, quote, conflict of interest. Yet nowhere in the bylaws or the ordinance does it say that this board is relieved of its duty for such a claim as conflict of interest. This board is supposed to guarantee impartiality and justice, not invent obstacles. So I have to ask, does this board only take cases that exonerate officers? Does it protect those in power and leave citizens like myself without recourse? And when city officials are involved in misconduct, does accountability simply disappear? If you won't hear my case, whose case will you even take? This isn't just about me. It's about the integrity of this board, law enforcement accountability, and the trust of the people you serve. I urge you to do your duty, open my case, review the evidence, and hold Officer Josh Morgan and the other officers that were there that night accountable. Additionally, Director King has also canceled meetings of this board and has not held his bi-monthly meeting of this board as required by law. This board did not meet in either June or July, and one of the reasons Director King cited for canceling the meeting was due to the fact that he did not have any cases for the board. Director King had my case. You guys had my case. He also had a duty to gather this board together on a
Foster,
bi-monthly
your-
basis.
Your time is up, sir. Thank you.
Chair, thanks you.
Next name on our sign-up list is Sarah Foster. And as before, if you would tell us your name, address, and I'll begin your 3 minutes when you approach the podium.
Sarah Foster, 1138 College Street. Having witnessed the assault that Mr. Foster just spoke of, it concerns me that almost a year and a half later, I still have not been contacted by detectives to give my witness statement. Councilwoman Izgotsky's witnesses were able to give their statements the very night she assaulted Mr. Foster. But then again, why should I expect them to contact me for a statement when we were told by the South Bend Police Department that they cannot take a witness statement from me because I'm Mr. Foster's wife? So by that logic, if he and I are walking down the sidewalk and I get mugged and he gets a clear view of the mugger, then he can't be a witness to me getting mugged? In what twisted world and system is that even remotely acceptable? South Bend is a system that logic is acceptable in. Another issue that appears to be acceptable in South Bend is police officers unnecessarily using force. At yesterday's press briefing, Chief Ruskowski posed the question, "Tell me what you saw wrong." Anybody can. What I saw wrong was a 14-year-old girl being grabbed, slammed to the ground, her neck pinned against the curb, and then thrown into the squad car. This 14-year-old girl was asked to leave the establishment, so she did. It seems the officer was triggered by this 14-year-old girl being disrespectful. Speech, whether rude, crude, or disrespectful, is protected under the First Amendment. Therefore, speech, whether rude, crude, or disrespectful, is not a crime. In fact, the 14-year-old girl repeatedly asked Officer Chaput what crime she committed, and instead of answering her, he threw her into the back of the squad car and slammed the door. I challenge this Community Police Review Board to represent your community and independently review any and all complaints or issues without influence from the police chief or mayor.
The chair thanks you.
We have Fred Teague.
Hi, I'm here to speak on behalf of the 14-year-old girl. I felt like there was a one-sided narrative
Mr. Teague,
yesterday.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I'm going to reset your time. Could you tell us your name for our record and your address, please?
Fred Teague, 704 Rolling Court. I'm speaking on behalf of the young girl that was slammed to the ground the other day by the police officer. And from what the press conference is, it seems as if it was justified. I don't see no world where a 14-year-old girl should be handled in that manner. A man shouldn't put his hands on a woman as a rule. But when it comes to a child that hasn't committed a crime, how do you justify it because she knows her rights and says that you don't have a right to touch me? What's your name? What's your badge? What crime have I committed? And to justify slamming this little 14-year-old girl on the ground and having her head on the curb. I watched this girl after a meeting. This was my niece. This is my niece. I watched this girl after a meeting sitting in the parking lot at the school, watch a police ride by in the SUV and watch her tighten up and say, look, mommy, a police. Traumatized at 14 years old. And to hear Chief Ruskowski, which I consider a friend, but there is no friendship when it comes to right and wrong. And in my eyes, that was totally wrong. It's the reason why an attorney said, I'm gonna take this charge. And I'm just hoping that this board be fair and recognize that there was no justification for that young girl to be handled like that. Never is there a case for that, for a juvenile, boy or girl to be handled like that, unless she done committed a crime in real time. She done shot somebody, take her down. What did she do? What was her crime? So I'm asking for fairness for my niece because it was wrong and she's traumatized by this for life. I've been through it with police myself. I got police that I love, numbers in my phone. But right is right and wrong is wrong. That one-sided narrative from yesterday was not a true representation of the facts when you got witnesses inside and out that recorded and was there saying the little girl was high-strung, but she was not disrespectful, not threatening. When they asked her to leave, the gentleman told her to leave, she left. So what was the justification for grabbing her and slamming her down? There's a million ways that could have been handled. That should have been de-escalated. He could have walked with her and talked to her. Can I talk to you for a second? They don't want you back in the restaurant. You're not in trouble. I want to get your side of the story. There's a million ways. And for me, it's calling for some policy change because obviously they're not being treated the right way. If they feel like it's okay to just grab a child, a young Black child, and slam her on the ground like that without justification. There's no justification for that. So I'm hoping that this board will be more partial than what I saw yesterday from the police department.
Mr. Teague, that's your time, but I think you're finished. So thank you.
The chair thanks you.
I believe the next signature, or next name is Kat Redding. And as we've asked before, please say your name and address, and I'll start your time as you approach the podium.
Understood.
Thank you.
Catherine Redding, 1409 Minor Street, South Bend, Indiana. I just want to put on the record that a child was kidnapped and held against her will, detained without giving any articulable suspicion. I also want to say that the chief of police said that we as citizens have to deal with it while our rights are being violated, that we don't have the right to articulate and advocate for ourselves when our rights are violated. I find that to be problematic. That our chief of police, Chief Ruskowski, told us that we have to deal with it after a 14-year-old was held against her will and was not detained lawfully. I also find it incredibly egregious that the chief of police thought that sided with this officer and decided that he was in his ramification of holding this girl against her will. That child knew her rights. She asked, "What am I being charged with?" She was a customer at McDonald's. She wasn't a person going in, as they said in the news stories, saying that she's demanding money. She was asking for a refund. Anytime you have services that you're not happy with, you have a right to ask for a refund. She was in her she was capable of asking for a refund. I'm not sure why. The lady said that she appeared to be a 10-year-old. Why the police was called on somebody that appeared to be a 10-year-old. I find it highly problematic that we're allowing the police department to abuse our children, but then when we try to chastise our children, they come and take our kids away from us, and then they say the kids are out of control. Well, shouldn't they be? If you allow them to not be chastised at home, but the police can chastise your child, the police can throw your kid around and arrest them and hold them down and grab them by the neck and body slam them, but you can no longer chastise your child at home. And then you wonder why you call these children lawless, even though I don't believe that the child was out of her wheelhouse of having her rights violated. She did exactly what she should have did as a child. And I want to send praise to the parents for teaching this young woman that
Ma'am.
what her rights are.
That is your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The chair thanks you.
Next person who signed up to comment is Blue Casey. And as always, please tell us your name and address, and I'll begin when you start speaking, sir.
Yes, sir. Blue Casey. I'm gonna retract from giving my address and just let y'all know that I'm from the north side, far northwest side of South Bend, founder of Fremont Park Youth Foundation, founder of New Black Power Movement of South Bend. Good evening, members of the board, and neighbors and community leaders. I stand here today not as an individual, but as a voice of the community that is hurting, that is demanding to be heard, and that refuses to accept silence or excuses when it comes to the safety of our children. Recently, our city witnessed an incident that has shaken us to the core. A child unarmed, leaving and misidentified, was met with force, instead of understanding. If not for video evidence, it could have been written off as just another misunderstanding without proof. It would have been just her word against those badges. This is the reality too many of our young people face. These voices, their voices are being dismissed and their pains are being overlooked. This is why transparency matters. This is why body cameras matters. But transparency without access is no transparency at all when families have to pay up to, I don't know anymore, 25 or 75. I know they don't change it around. I feel like it should be free. When families have to pay just to see footage of what happened to their own loved ones, it creates an unfair barrier to the truth and accountability that fee must end. We are not here to tear down our police officers. We understand that job has to be done or whatever, but protecting our children and listening to their cries and ensuring their future is not something that we can just push under the rug. That is our job as well, and that is our duty. We are asking for three things: an independent investigation into the use of force on a child, the end of unaffordable body camera footage fees, and mandatory youth de-escalation training for all nonviolent youth encounters. This is not just about one incident, it's about a larger trend that we are seeing: growing youth violence, a cycle of distrust, and a widening gap between law enforcement and the people they are sworn to protect. I am.
Chair, thank you.
Next person who signed in is Mark Anella. Mr. Anella, if you could follow the same protocol as everyone else, and I'll start your time when you start speaking, sir.
Thank you. My name is Mark Anella. I live at 1010 Quimby Street.
Water and glass ice. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Anella, I'm going to restart your time because of the interruption. So I'm starting you again at 0, and please proceed when you're ready.
Thank you. My name is Mark Anella. I live at 1010 Quimby Street. Really appreciate everybody who has brought this atrocious brutality to the public's attention. I really think that as the public, we should be scrutinizing the actions of the police, of people who claim to protect and serve. It is atrocious that we have to protect each other from the people who claim to protect us. And I just want to echo that the victim of this brutality should be financially compensated, at the very minimum, should be financially compensated. The officer should be held accountable. I have spent time working at Our Lady of the Road, which is a homelessness services center. As staff there, we are all required to do ongoing de-escalation training. I can't believe that somebody whose job it is to protect the public doesn't have to go through the same de-escalation training. I think that they should have to go through de-escalation training. And that's pretty simple. I also think that the body cam footage should be free to the public, period, point blank. And that's all. Thank you very much.
The chair, thanks you.
Forgive me, the next person who has signed in, it looks like it's a first initial T and then a surname Waddle.
That's close.
Well, please
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh
And
my goodness.
I'll start timing when you start speaking now.
This is, okay. My name's Tiana Batiste Waddell, to be full. It's so long I didn't write it out. I live at 330 Colfax Avenue. And the first thing I just want to make sure that you're aware of as a committee is that I did file a formal complaint after what I saw yesterday in the press conference. So as a citizen, at 4:52 p.m. on August 20th, I submitted a complaint to the South Bend Police Department for the excessive force of that officer on that child. And I would really encourage everybody in the audience to go onto their website and file your own complaint. We all know that it was wrong, and you have a right to complain about that. So file your own complaint. I would like to know what the timeline is on that response. I haven't heard back yet. I know it's only been a day, but it's pretty urgent. I would think that the morale, that might want to be addressed sooner than later, but just when should I hear back from someone? And then I am wondering, because as a committee, you do represent me. And I'm just wondering where this committee is with their own cultural, intercultural competency training to ensure that you are anti-racist yourself, because you are representing the citizens. I'm also wondering where the police are with their own anti-racist training. What happened on Friday of last week, racial bias played a huge role in that aggression that we saw on that 14-year-old child. And then I just do have some concerns. I've only been to one of these meetings, but I did get the sense that the citizens don't really feel like they're being protected. It more feels like we're protecting the establishment. So just really assessing the conflict of interest with your director and him being a city employee, and just ensuring that he's representing the people and not the establishment. And then I too agree. I personally believe that the police officer that harmed the 14-year-old child should be terminated. I do want a full investigation. Because my son asks me all the time to walk to Save-A-Lot. And now I have to take another double take, another double thought, another triple thought as a Black mother of a Black child, that my son is not safe walking to the store. Please ensure that you're getting training, cultural competency, anti-racist training. Body camera footage should be free. And of course, that child should be given something financially because of what happened to her. Thank you.
The chair thanks you.
I just reiterate here that we won't necessarily be responding to questions at this juncture in our meeting, but I do encourage everyone to stay. Our agenda was planned in advance, but many of the questions I heard you ask, ma'am, may be answered by our regular course of business, which would then take us to our next person who signed up to speak. First name is Joe, last name begins with an L. Thank you, sir. When you approach and begin speaking, I'll start your 3 minutes. Thank you.
Joe Laurie, 1021 East Dubell. I just want to say I'm an Uber driver in the city of South Bend. I picked up over 15,000 people, me and a lot of people. A lot of Uber drivers are scared to come up and say the police is bad. I'm not going to say all police are bad, but there's a lot of them that even mess with Uber drivers, throw them to the ground and just, I don't know if the chief or you guys scared of the police. We don't really know, but they are out of control. Eddie Street is bad with the police. Eddie Street, they just won't stop, even with us. And we're picking up DUI people all night long. You take it to the chief, you take it to do complaints. Nobody do anything. So the next time they pull me over, I'm gonna sit in federal court. That's it. You know, they got one more time to snatch me out of my car, and what am I doing? I'm working. You know, but sorry about the little girl. We'll see what's gonna happen, what you guys gonna do. We'll see. I mean, I don't know, but hopefully something get done by that. And tell me, Uber drivers alone, we just working. We just want to get paid, that's it.
The chair thanks you.
Next person who signed in, it's first name is Todd and the surname begins with a B. I can't read the entirety of your surname, sir, but thank you. Mr. Begonia, would you please approach, introduce yourself, and I'll begin your timing when you start speaking, sir.
Todd Begonia. A lot of people know me because I'm Cedar Glen Apartments. That's where you'll find me. You can look on the news, you can see where I walked right up into my apartment. Anyway, I've been a resident of South Bend for 55 years. Actually was a drug addict on these streets at one time 8 years ago. Pulled myself out from it. South Bend in 55 years. I've had a house stolen. Called the cops. They said it wasn't, or even a crime in South Bend. What stuck out to me most about that video was I have 3 daughters. A grown-ass man on top of his child. It's hard to watch. What really stuck out to me was when the cop threatened the child they called DCS. Now that's when it hits me different because I had a child stolen from me from DCS, Michigan Street. You guys want somebody's names, the people's names? Anyway, I'm not here for that. But yes, her name was Ada Monroe, and she was stolen in this city. So I've had a house stolen. I've had a child stolen. I've been beat up by cops, pre-body cam. Growing up in South Bend, it was nothing like that. But it's just bad, right? It's out of control right now. And you guys up there, I don't trust neither one of you, none of you. Cedar Glen, remember when y'all gave them $8 million for grant money to fix that place, and then we had hot water problems? They didn't do, they got away with that. So I don't trust anybody sitting up there. When are we gonna see some real change in the city? Like for real, for real. For real. If you can steal my child in this city, what else can you do? Ada Monroe.
The chair thanks you.
I truly cannot read the next name. I can say, does your phone number end with the number 5? Okay, please introduce yourself and I'll start your 3 minutes when you start speaking, sir.
Name's Marcus Arkowski, 10278 Fox Street. So I talk on behalf of the 14-year-old girl that was, in my opinion, assaulted. Now I'm gonna bring it to a dynamic we haven't talked about yet. which is like, if she would have been a white girl, that would never happen. Y'all, the situation would have been totally different. The whole narrative would have been different. When we saw the narrative played that she was an animal, she was unruly, those are words we use for Black children, Black people. Like, we're seen as subhuman people. We're not even seen as human. Our humanity isn't seen by police officers. So when I look at what happened to her, I look and ask myself, if she was a white girl, would it have happened? No. Police have been very careful because they would have known that if they would have done the same thing that they did to her if she was white, that's automatic fire and termination. This whole city would have been outraged. We would have seen white people on the street in mass saying, why is he fired? Why is he still on the force? And I think it's too many times that we hear the same excuses of, they think if they would have complied, they would have complied, they would have complied. That seems like a broken record. Like, every time we see one of our children thrown in the streets, knees up, like thrown in the curb like that, we hear everyone say, man, we only should have complied. She should have listened to the cops. She did. She asked the cops, what did they do wrong? Asked him for his badge number, didn't give it to her. And we're supposed to be left watching her hit the ground like, okay, they threw her to the ground. That's excessive force. Then the police chief and Dave Herron just, well, they just gotta deal with it. Like, I'm gonna repeat the same sentiment. That cop needs to lose a job. That family needs to get money. And we need some change in the city.
Chair, thank you.
The next person who signed in is Wayne Hubbard. Sir, I'll ask you the same thing. If you tell us your name and address, I'll begin your 3 minutes when you start speaking, sir.
Wayne Hubbard, 4313 Windsor Place, South Bend, Indiana. You can't respond or won't respond to what I'm about to say, but no one's stupid anymore. They'll be able to tell by your reactions and your choices after this. At least half the board appears to be Black, but doesn't appear to be for the people. I am not sure which way that's going to go, but this action, or none at all, will tell us the truth. A police officer chose that slamming a 14-year-old would reduce risk instead of leaving her alone. A police officer chose to put his hands on a 14-year-old after the reason he was called out there was gone. She walked outside the store. He was called there because she would not leave. At this point, he should have been talking to McDonald's. He had no business to bother this child. And if we don't do something soon, people in the city are going to start reacting on their own because we're tired of waiting for you guys to do something. We're tired of it. And before you know it, there'll be all-out war on the streets because people are tired of waiting. So today I ask you to choose. You're for us or not. I'm not asking whether you support police or not. You are for the poor in this community, the Black in this community, or not. No in between, no being on the fence, or not. I don't know any of you, it's been a while, but when they're talking about 14-year-olds, I have a 14-year-old, she's sitting here. I have a 13-year-old, she's sitting here too. Today I'd be in prison. That's how easy it is to take Black men off the streets and mothers who give a damn. That officer had no right, not only should he be fired, he should be charged. That citizen. I have not heard enough from officials about this citizen. I hear citizens talking about who is this citizen, but I do not hear y'all asking who this citizen is. Not only, unless y'all want to get this cop in here and have him admit to me that he was twice the size of this little girl and he needed the help from someone else to detain or restrain her. Show me how brave your boys in blue are. You choose today what you will and won't do. I'm done listening to anything else, but mark my words, we're getting tired. Take it for a grain for us all, but remember whose hands it was in first before it got in anybody else's. But if you think people are just gonna sit here like this, we are not our ancestors. We're supposed to be better than them. Not worse or more snag. Back then, people stood. Now they're so docile, and it's because of people like the corrupt in this room, like the corrupt in all rooms in this building. And we're tired of it, and we see you. Act as you may, but we see you. I'm done.
The chair thanks you.
Next person who signed up to speak is Komanich Wheeler.
Awesome one. My name is Komanich Wheeler. My address, as you all already know, is 1628 South Carlisle Street, South Bend, Indiana. I stand here today with the facts that your chief asked for over 15 years here. There's one. That's two. And I'm gonna do this as kindly as possible. I stand here as a citizen of the United States of America, representing my constitutional rights of freedom of speech and also my spiritual belief. United States of America stand in front of us every day as a Christian nation, a nation who states they're under God. So let's go. Do I trust this panel? No. First fact, you panel are sitting here. The panel has been in my face and you've seen my face for over 12 years. And I'm standing, you can turn your face all you want, but I'm gonna stand here with these facts because you think you're represented by the lawyer that's standing over there to your right. Sweeney Nemeth Masters and Ken Petey, aren't you Mr. Nemeth? Yes, you are. The Nemeth, the family started the judicial system in St. Joe County. Let's keep that real quick now. I'm standing here with a subpoena from your group. I don't know if y'all all affiliated, but they say birds of a feather flock together, so let's do this here. Now, I went to court with a lie, it's supposed to be a witness. Oh boy, Judge Marnoka wasn't even in the building, and this is y'all facts. So do y'all trust the lawyer that's representing y'all right now? Not only that, let's keep this real street here. Now, it was a ward of the state. Officers out there are standing out there fighting and giving their lives, right? For their colleagues and some of the good ones that might lay their life down. But here I am as a citizen of United States of America, and I'm here to lay my life down for God himself. You can't continue, and that's all y'all pastors who taking all these political positions and all that and thinking y'all looking righteous right now, because this ain't that either. My son was 14 years old and he fought an officer. That nigger word was strong out there on them southeast side streets, the side of town where y'all collected most of y'all federal indictments from. Do we ask for or do we need outside besides this citizen review board? Absolutely, because y'all ain't even represented right. Judge Peter J. Nemeth was like my dad. I'm giving my life in 3 minutes. Now, whether you decide to take it and South Bend police officer be back at my window, come holler at me. My 3 minutes up.
That's your time, ma'am.
I got more facts if you want them. I got more facts, but just know I came in the name of the Lord.
Thank you, ma'am.
They ain't got to.
The chair
They
thanks
ain't
you.
need to. Too much fire over here. Watch you represent y'all.
Is it Hill Jack? Go ahead, sir. Introduce yourself, and we'll start your 3 minutes when you start speaking. Thank you.
How everybody doing? They call me Hill Jack. You can call me Hill. I am a real estate investor. I specifically been looking at this city for quite a while because of its progressive nature. I'm looking at the infrastructure, which seems to be good bones in our world, but is a little concerning what happened with Bria. And I think it's a testament to us all as adults, because you literally, as a parent, if you're a parent, right, the most valuable asset that you would create on this earth, we have to send them out to the world. The one thing that we truly don't want to do, but we know we have to, right? And then we have to leave the most valuable thing that we've created on this earth in the hands of people that said, I'm going to protect you. I got you. And we as parents, in some cases, teach our children to obey whatever those adults who's supposed to be in charge say. So this situation that happened kind of stunned me because I got girls, right? I got sons, I got nephews, and they can be a little wild, right? At a young age, which I think a lot of us, excuse my voice, are at certain ages, right? So to make a long story short, this right here is an opportunity for not only the city, not Democrat, Republican, right? It should be bipartisan, your police enforcement, the businesses around here to say, you know what trajectory, what direction do we truly want to go in, right? Do we want to fight our most valuable asset that we have as a city, which is what? Our citizens. No matter how age, they the citizens. Without our citizens, we're a zero around these parts. So there'd be no lawyer getting paid. He's gonna move somewhere else if we have no citizens. If the board wouldn't sit here if there are no citizens. Furthermore, if there's no growth from the citizens that's already here, meaning they come here, I'm leaving. I don't want to stay in South Bend. I'm out of here. We don't want that. We want them to come to South Bend and say, you know what? They work with us, right? It's challenging, but we all in this, a marriage is there. We in this together. So now we can take this opportunity and we can do this right here, right? Because that's what and we're gonna do that. But at the end of it all, we need to know, where do we want to go as a city? Where y'all want to go, right? Do we want to go there? And from what I'm looking at, is progressing this way. So now that's up to everybody that's on this board what the next 10 years of your city is gonna look like.
The chair thanks you.
We have, point of order, we have one last person who signed up in person, and then I will, Pastor King, ask you if we have anybody who signed up online. The next person who signed up in person is, in our final person, Dan Fisher. Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Chairperson, I'm Dan Fisher, 2413 Union Avenue. I'm an educator. The violence against this young woman, Chairperson, is absolutely egregious, as is the police department's response so far, as they're ducking accountability and ducking justice. Chair, shouldn't the city of South Bend be looking out for the people, not McDonald's, not the police, but for the people such as this young woman brutally assaulted by an officer? I'll keep my comments short and just speak in support of the very reasonable demands given by Black Lives Matter South Bend and the New Black Power movement of South Bend. Number one, financial compensation to the child and her family. Number two, an independent investigation by the Community Police Review Board. And number three, ending the $25 an hour fee for access to body camera footage. Thank you.
Chair thanks you.
Pastor King, has anyone online indicated a desire to speak? Okay. Thank you.
Again, the chair thanks you all, and we'll take everything that was said into advisement, and to ensure that that's a factual statement. How do we do that?
Well, there are, I guess, I think that everything that everyone's said in this room has been noted and will be made of record. I think that to the extent anything has raised questions that we would wish to follow up upon, we could make specific questions or specific topics agenda items for our next meeting. Some of the questions raised during this commentary period may very well be answered by some of the other topics we're going to discuss later, but I think perhaps the most practical way to handle it would be if any particular commentary has is something that the board would like to address more publicly and more thoroughly, we could make certain matters agenda items under new business for our next meeting.
Thank you, council. I'm of a mind to create, to compile some type of list of these type of things to make sure that we don't lose them. Member Vice Chair, Member Secretary, I'm thinking that we need to have an ongoing list of issues that may even be included inside of our report to the council. Things just keep an eye on so that they don't get away from us. Since I spoke, do anybody have anything to say before I close this section out?
I would like to have something to say.
The chair recognizes you.
My name is Roxanne Hughes. Today is my first meeting with this board. There's no way in the world that anyone can sit in this room, in any seat in this room, and not feel and hear what it is that you've said. I was born in New Orleans. My background includes extensive training in cultural sensitivity, conflict resolution, anger management. I am here to serve you. This is a new day for me. My voice. My voice. I heard you and I see you. Thank you. Thank you for your bravery. Thank you for your truth.
Thank you, member. Does any other members have anything they would like to add? Member Cheryl, would you like to speak? Member Cheryl, you're muted. You need to unmute your mic. Hold on, you did it.
Okay, can you hear me now?
The chair recognizes you, Member Cheryl.
Okay, I would like to encourage those people who felt that a police officer has not treated them correctly to please file a complaint with this board. I don't know if people know how the ordinance was written, and maybe you might mention, chairperson, what the ordinance says we have to handle and how we handle it. But I really encourage people who feel they've been not treated fairly by the police to please file a complaint with us, and so that we can then investigate. Thank you.
If that's all, we will proceed. This next section is a board development session. So we have two new members. So this section can be a good idea, but because of the training requirements that they'll do individually, I ask that we keep this brief and maybe even targeted to appeal to the remaining community members. Can we do that? So the chair recognizes the council, our council.
Thank you, Dr. Adams. On our agenda this evening is an overview of the enabling ordinance that created the Community Police Review Board, and specifically, in broad strokes, the purpose of the board and the powers and duties of the board and the procedures for investigating complaints. I think that in simple terms, the primary purpose of this board is to provide independent civilian oversight of complaints about law enforcement officers. Now, that is easy to say. It's harder to do as a practical matter, although if you have been with us at prior meetings, you have seen how this board has been able to act upon complaints and receive information and make an up and down decision about whether we agree with law enforcement findings or not. But I think I'd like to address my comments, and I think it may do the most good in the room to walk everyone through the process of how, excuse me, how a complaint ends up before this board. And it begins with a filing in the review office. The Common Council ordinance that created this board allows any individual personally aggrieved by an act, or if that person is a minor or incapacitated, a guardian or parent, to file a complaint. The complaint be filed in the review office under the direction of Pastor Charles King. Complaint is then referred to internal affairs within the South Bend Police Department. Once the complaint has been lodged and referred to internal affairs, twin investigations open. Internal Affairs opens an investigation and the review office opens an investigation. That would be the office chaired by Pastor King. Within 60 days, absent good cause for an extension, the results of that investigation is then referred to this board. And then within 60 days of the referral to this board is meant to reach its disposition. We have in essence a binary option. We can agree with the conclusions of internal affairs, or we can disagree with the conclusions of internal affairs. If we agree, that means we would adopt the finding of internal affairs, and the findings would be one of four categories. Finding that the complaint was not sustained, finding that the complaint was sustained, finding of exoneration, which is a slightly higher bar than not sustained, or finding that the complaint had been withdrawn. If we disagree with the conclusions of internal affairs, the board has three options in the event of a disagreement. The board can elect to instruct the review office to investigate.
Before you, point of order, counsel, the chair will step out just for a moment. Vice chair will assume chair responsibilities. Vice chair.
The vice chair recognizes the attorney.
If the board disagrees with the conclusions of internal affairs, the board has three options. First would be to instruct the review office to investigate the complaint further. Another option would be to instruct the review office to attempt to engage in informal mediation. Or the third option is to hold an administrative hearing. If the board elected to hold an administrative hearing, All interested parties would be invited to participate, evidence would be taken, and the complaint would be judged on a preponderance of evidence standard. That is a standard from civil court proceedings, which means more likely than not, it is distinct from the standard of beyond a reasonable doubt in criminal proceedings. If after that hearing, the review board is satisfied that it's received enough evidence to make a decision, it then has 4 options: finding the complaint sustained, finding it not sustained, finding the individual complained of exonerated, or the complaint withdrawn. After the board reaches any disposition, whether it's to agree with internal affairs or to disagree, within 10 days of that decision, the board's decision is reported to the Common Council, the mayor, the Board of Public Safety, and the complaining party. Now, in prior cases before this board, there have been, in my memory, at least 2 cases in which the board, after deliberation, voted to agree with internal affairs. But I think it's important to note that what the board is agreeing with is the conclusion that internal affairs reached. And in at least one instance, internal affairs reached the conclusion that there had been at least some instance of inappropriate behavior. So I can tell you in a broad way these procedures and what these labels mean. But every case is unique, and every case is fact intensive and fact sensitive. But if you have seen prior proceedings of this board, you will see that this board receives a thorough report of each complaint from Pastor King, along with a summary of internal affairs conclusions. Now, ultimately, this board does not have disciplinary power, but this board can make recommendations to the Common Council, the mayor, and the Board of Public Safety. So during the commentary period, I heard great interest in the work of this board, and in particular, the tools for empowering this board to make decisions. It begins with the filing of a complaint. That complaint is investigated by 2 offices, one internal to law enforcement, but also one in the review office. Those findings are then referred to this board, and this board deliberates in public. It takes time, but it takes time for good reason, because this board wants to make an informed, thorough, and impartial decision for the benefit of all interested parties. And by that, I mean the complaining party, as well as the officers involved. But it fundamentally begins with the filing of a complaint by an aggrieved person. And then it proceeds through twin investigations and ultimately deliberation by this board. I think that's really what I wanted to discuss tonight in terms of my participation in our professional development session. Madam Vice Chair, I'll certainly return the floor to you. Although I suppose I'd also propose asking Pastor King if he wishes to elaborate on my presentation.
Yeah, I would like to elaborate just a bit. So as far as filing the complaints, if the Community Police Review Board does not get the complaint and it goes to the police department, this board is not activated. So if you have a complaint, you would have to send it through multiple mediums. You know, you could do email, phone call, online. We have a portal online on the city website, but it has to be activated first before the board can even review any cases. And as we stand, we don't have any current activated cases.
Question? Question? Does this
So-
board have, oh, I'm sorry, were you speaking?
I've got
Does
my
this board-
hand up.
I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand up. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Member Cheryl.
So what you're saying basically, Mr. Masters, is, and you're saying the same thing, Pastor King is, if someone doesn't file a complaint with us, then our hands are kind of tied?
Ms. Ash, the analogy I've used before is that this is a board of judges and not detectives. So unlike detectives, we cannot seek out cases to solve, but like judges, we can give a fair hearing to the cases that come before us.
Okay.
So the simple answer to your question is that this body acts upon complaints that are given to us to review. And in the absence of a complaint, we cannot create one to review. So we stand at the ready to give fair hearings to complaints that come before us, but it presumes as a predicate matter that the complaints will be lodged with the review office, investigated by those twin agencies, and then presented to this board for its review.
So I repeat what I said earlier. If you think you've been done, quote, wrong by the police, please file complaints with this board, so then we can look at it. But if people don't file complaints with the board, then we can't look at it.
Question? Does this board, Pastor King, have access to all the information in order to base our findings on, including the videos?
That's a good question. So at this current time, we do not have access to the video, but there's some things that are changing that may adjust that. As far as the review office seeing the video currently, I'm seeing all the video, all the documentation, everything that the police department has in their investigation. I get to see that and in turn go to the people that have filed the complaint and their witnesses and gather my own information. Sometimes that even involves getting Ring cameras, getting footage from people's homes to have additional information.
I'm referring to the board. When does the board have access? How do we make it a judgment if in fact we're not seeing the videos? So providing information is one thing, for us to see the videos is something completely different. When will we, I understand, I thought just recently the city council, they approved that this particular board would start having access to these videos. Is that true or false?
Yeah.
I'm Sandra Kennedy. I'm the corporation counsel for the city. There is a bill coming before council that amends the Community Police Review Board ordinance that requires that you would view the videos.
Okay, this
So-
is new.
Yes, this is new. It's up for the first reading, I believe on Monday is the meeting, and then it will be for a second and third reading the following meeting. So if I could make a suggestion, I would ask that you speak at the council meeting and just state your feelings about that, your thoughts on that, because I think that would be helpful for the council to hear. Were that to happen, then we would actually want you to do that in an executive session, which would be held out of the public so that you could view them and discuss freely. You would not be making a decision during the viewing, but you would come back to the full meeting to make your decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have my hand up, Cheryl Ash.
Go ahead, Member Cheryl.
I'm speaking now to the people in the audience. I personally think it's very important that people on this board be able to see the police video, body cam, car cam, etc. And since in order for us to do this, a law has to be passed by the city council. And I really encourage all of you all who are sitting in the audience to go to the city meetings, to contact your representatives and let them know that you think this board should be able to see body cam and car video. You know, we can't do it by ourselves. We need the help of the citizens.
Does that answer your question? Okay.
The chair recognizes Luella.
I want to talk to the audience as well. And Pastor King, correct me, counsel, correct me if I'm wrong. Although you file your complaint with the South Bend Police Department, you still have a right to file a complaint with us. You don't have to be fearful that you can't come to us because you already filed your complaint with South Bend Police. We encourage you to file a complaint with us so that we can do the job that we have been given to do.
So we proceed to item 2, board composition and roles. Council.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. This is rather simple. We're a body of 9. There is a basic residency requirement that one be a resident of South Bend. There is also a requirement that each councilmanic district be represented. The terms are staggered. They are 1, 2, or 3-year terms. The qualifications are set by the Common Council. Pleased to say that I believe tonight, since we began actively meeting in January, is the first meeting where we have had all 9 members present. You all sacrifice a great deal of time and effort, both being here in the public eye, but also probably not as well known is the training obligations that are required to serve on this board, which includes riding along with police officers, which includes attending the
Police Academy.
thank you. Forgive me, I don't want to misspeak. The Citizens Police Academy, all of which you all do just to earn the standing to serve on this board, and then to come and perform this service for the public. I often say that the Common Council are our bosses. They've set our requirements, they've set our training, and I'm pleased to see that tonight we have all 9 of our board members present for the first meeting. That's all I have to say on that particular topic, but thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Member Vice Chair. I am going to motion that we amend the agenda remaining to include time for comments from you all, and then we will go to adjournment. During those comments, you will be able to ask council director or one either of the board members any questions. So that is my motion. There's a second. It's open for discussion. Discuss that motion? Oh, he was taking questions while I was going. Are y'all all good to go? Okay, okay.
We have to call each of our names so we can vote yes or no.
Uh, it seems that you all already asked questions. So that,
If you'll allow me, Chair, we did a somewhat abbreviated approach to items 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the agenda. So I think that you could simply move on with the regular agenda to item 6
yeah,
without having to take up the motion.
that's perfect. We're seeing that motion. We'll proceed to item 6. So the floor is open to any board members. Everybody happy, huh?
Can
I got my hand up.
Oh, the chair recognizes you, Member Cheryl.
Okay. I'd like to suggest that at each meeting, we have kind of a little cheat sheet so that the public knows how we operate. As I listened to many of the people with their heartfelt testimony today or comments, I came to realize that many people gave this board more power than we have. And, many people thought we could investigate because something needed to be investigated, not realizing that a person who thought that they were quote unquote done wrong by the police had to file a complaint with us. So I think maybe just from meetings from now on, we have a basic outline of how we operate. And I think that will help the citizens understand better why we may not have addressed some things that they think need to be addressed.
Member Cheryl, I think that's great. Your posturing director, you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, Member McMahon jumped on it before I could even get to it, but those are the pamphlets for the information to file a complaint, to know about our board, how it operates. I brought an abundance of those tonight in hopes that our community members could take them with them. So that information will be public knowledge.
So, what other comments or questions, concerns do any of the board members have? Come on, y'all, let me know what it is. What's going on? What's on your mind? Well, I will respond to Member Cheryl. I think that is a great idea, but I have an issue. And the issue is that we are in the middle of a transition where the council right now is still awaiting our report, a report that includes or should include recommendations on policies, which is the power that council gave us. So, yes, we have a current ordinance of who we are and what we do, but we also have an opportunity to request that that ordinance is improved. At which point I would no longer have an objection to issuing a pamphlet of our improved processes. But we have questions. We have some research. We have some research to do, and I need the board to help me in this research. I need the board to help the director, myself, and the council to get this report done. Please. The board, chair recognizes you.
As far as our policies or any changes or anything that we may recommend, I do have something that I would like for the board to think about, talk about the pros and cons, and just for us to kind of just toss this around a little bit. But in my research, I found that some community police review boards do have a retired officer as a non-member non-voting member that sits on the board that is only there as a consultant. So this officer does not influence. But if at times there are questions that we may have about, is it common practice for an officer to stop someone after they've left a scene? Or I'm just kind of wondering how you guys think that would work. Because this officer, in my mind, would be retired, either city or county, in good standing at the time of retirement, non-voting, and would solely act as someone for us to ask questions of. I think that the public and the FOP feel that we are not qualified. They feel that our training does not allow us to make informed decisions. And I myself would like to have someone who has performed the job, who knows if it's right or wrong, if it's common for certain things that officers do. So I would just like to just have us think about that and see if maybe that's how you guys feel about it. If it would be helpful, if it would hurt. I do think that that officer, retired officer, should be selected by the board with maybe some input from the council or the chief. But the ultimate decision would be up to our board after we do personal interviews, maybe check on recommendations. So those are my thoughts.
May I make a suggestion?
The chair recognizes you, Member Cheryl.
Why don't we schedule an executive give me a chance. Why don't we schedule an executive session where we can talk about some changes we'd like to see to the ordinance, or even the structure of what the board is, et cetera. Because I know I have some things that I'd like to see possibly changed a little bit on how we operate. There may be other people, so maybe we could schedule an executive session to do that.
I would like to say something.
Are you done, Member Cheryl?
Yes.
The chair recognizes you, Member Luella.
Understand where Member Kelly is coming from. And if we go that route and the board decides this is how we want to go, I feel it must be clear to the community what this officer, retired officer's role is, so that they will not be confused thinking that they'll know what he can and what he cannot do. Or she.
And that's why I brought it up for just a discussion, just to see from both sides. Would it hurt our credibility, or would it help us? And so I would like for us to maybe in the executive session that Member Cheryl suggested, for us to just talk about it.
One other question. If we go that route, would this have to be approved by the Common Council?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you talking about adding a non-voting member?
Yes.
Yeah, that's their business, yeah.
I'd like to add a quick point. Too, in the ordinance, it does say that officers can't be involved in the board. So we'd have to find a way to maybe use them in an executive session, maybe, to ask questions, but not participate in our meetings. Yeah.
You know what? That might be a way to accomplish, well, unless the retired element is absolutely important. Because I'm guessing what we want is just questions on what policy is, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, counsel.
Matthew, two thoughts in response to this discussion. The first is, within the ordinance as it presently is written, there is this. The majority of the review board determines that additional information of a specialized police nature is necessary to process a complaint. The review board shall consult with one or more consultants of its choice, subject to appropriations. So, the board has already been empowered to consult with consultants concerning specialized policing matters. However, this implies that those would be paid consultants, and that becomes a matter of budget more than our power to do so. I think that, Ms. Johnson, your suggestion is slightly different and well taken, but I do wish the board to know that the Common Council has already given you at least some extent of authority to consult with others who may have more specialized knowledge about policing practices. Second, as it concerns the executive sessions, we'd have to fit it in the permissible categories of executive sessions under Indiana law that would allow us to meet outside of the public eye. So before we scheduled it or did anything like that, we'd have to have a reason to do so. I think that training is not, so our training sessions don't necessarily have to be conducted in public. So that is one approach would be that we conduct further training on these issues. I also just, I don't think, I know other government bodies have workshops in public. They don't have full meetings like this, but they have workshops where a quorum meets and then they talk about these things. I think sometimes county commissioners and county council members wouldn't ordinarily meet together, but they call a joint workshop or something like that. So it is possible to do that type of policy review in public. That's all. Thank you.
My hand's up.
The chair recognizes you, Member Cheryl.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we have our attorney tell us how to structure a meeting where we can talk about some of these issues that have come up about having a police retired person or other issues. And he come back and tell us how we legally do it. I motion that.
I second Cheryl.
The floor is open for a discussion on this motion. I'm going to start by saying that we are in control of our agendas. This board controls its own agenda, its own meeting, and they can place what they feel necessary on those agendas. Our counsel just explained to us how we may be able to use a training session, how we may be able to use that there's, information about how you can use an executive session. And we pretty much are getting the hang of how we can use these meetings, but it's your agenda. So our current processes, if you don't notice, is the director, we allow and we appreciate the director for drafting an agenda, at which point the chair has asked the vice chair to scrutinize it and make sure that it aligns with the board's interest, and send the director back the final agenda, which the director then publishes. So with that being said, if anyone else wants to comment, you can. Member Cheryl, it's up to you if you still want to, if you still feel that that vote is necessary.
Yes, I do. Only so that we have gone on record for the public to know that we are going to be looking at some of the issues, be it what issues the public has raised about how we operate, or the police officers have raised how we operate. And just to go on record that we're going to discuss this in some kind of manner that the attorney will tell us how we discuss it. Is it an executive session? Is it an open session?
Okay, I love that idea. So this is what's about to happen. In a few seconds, council is going to reword that motion.
Okay.
And that's going to be for you, Madam Secretary, to get it copied down. You ready? Council, would you remind us of what the motion is?
It's a motion to request a opinion of council concerning meeting options. You don't have to put too fine of a point on it. I understand the task here. So it's I suppose, what's a motion? Well, a motion is a request. And the request this board is making is of your council to prepare an opinion of council letter about different meeting options to address policy topics, ordinance changes, training topics. I just say it's a motion to direct council to prepare an opinion of council.
That's fine with you, Madam Cheryl?
Yes, perfect, perfect.
Madam Secretary? Roll call.
Roxanne Hughes,
Roxanne Hughes.
What?
Oh, we're taking a vote.
let's do a roll call.
Aye.
Okay. Dr. Day Bryant,
Aye.
Donna McMahon,
Aye.
Cominique Thomas,
Aye.
Luella Webster,
Aye.
Kelly Johnston,
Aye.
President Adams,
Aye.
Sharia Williams, aye. Cheryl Ash,
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Do it.
Is that, I know that's by far not the end of our discussion, but it may be the end of our discussion today. We do have items that we need to discuss, budget. My term coming to an end, preparing for continuity. Those interested in being the executive board. So please be thinking about that. Also, if I may, we have some homework, and this is what the homework is. Let's start compiling some thoughts on improvements. We've been serving for a while. We've been hearing stuff. We've been running into our own issues. If everyone could just please start compiling those thoughts on improvements, that would be a great first step into getting this report done and sent to council. Is that okay? Is that okay? What, did I hear a motion to adjourn? Oh, that was me. I did that. Oh.
Pastor King, Director King,
Yeah.
is it okay if we Xerox copies of this and put it out to the community?
Please take that out to the community. I have some copies. You don't even need to copy it. I have them in the office if you need more.
So there's a motion to adjourn on the table. And there,
It's
yeah, okay.
seconded.
It's a unanimous second. We got to do a roll call, y'all. Madam Secretary.
Roxana Hughes,
That would be me.
uh,
Yes.
Dr. Day Bryant,
Aye.
Cominique Thomas,
Aye.
Donna McMahon, Luella Webster,
Aye.
Hassan,
Aye.
Cheryl Ash,
Aye.
Sharia Williams, aye. All right. We are
Aye.
done.
Thank you all.
7:45.
Yeah.